Bruins local?
What's up, man?
Not much. What's going on?
Yeah, they wouldn't shut up about the cup, so.
Okay, and him?
He wouldn't stop trying to get Buffalo to trade him Eichel for Simmons in a second.
Okay, so what about Buffalo?
He was going to take the deal.
Oh, that was nice of you.
Yeah, I thought so too.
What about these guys?
Forgot about them. Oilers low-qual wouldn't stop screaming that Duncan Keith was going to win the Norris next year. Habs low-qual was existing, and I just didn't like that. And Isles low-qual wouldn't stop making fun of me for saying Bruins in 5.
Well, it seems like you're busy. So, I'm going to head out. I'm going to petition the NHL to get Tom Wilson as head of player safety.
Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team. That is a dub. What's a dub, you might ask? Well, your boy had a really fun opportunity recently. Earlier this week, a podcast was released. It's called the Short Shift Podcast. I've talked about it before. And Loqual got to make a guest appearance on it, which was super exciting, really fun for me. I can't tell you how much I love talking about the Bruins, and these absolutely insane men were like, hey, come on, be a guest. And so I go there to be a guest, and through a little bit of life magic, I get to co-host for the whole episode. And we just go off. Expansion draft, free agency, the NHL amateur draft. We talk about everything. Go check it out. I'm going to put the link below. It's a lot of fun. There's a couple hot takes in there. If you're looking for more Bruins content, I'd really appreciate you checking these guys out. The Short Shift Podcast, Andrew and Thomas, awesome people. And obviously I'm on it for this episode, so I want to tell you guys about it. Stop it, I'm blushing. There's a couple other dubs going on in Boston though. First of all, a Carlo extension, we'll talk about that. The Red Sox are still kicking ass and potentially got the best player in the draft at number 4. What? The NBA Finals, I don't hate either of the teams in it, which is, going into the season, it really looked like I would. One last dub, I'm wearing my fashionista jersey, check it out. Yeah. You may also have noticed when I released last episode, there was a little bit of hanging dong going on, right? It happens, little trick of the camera. Here's the thing, I got a couple messages about that, people were unhappy, and they left the channel, and I gotta be honest, if that's not your humor, I'm not going to force you to stick around, because I laughed my butt off at that one. Quick little message. There was somebody, I'm not going to use your username, there was somebody who left a beautifully long message about things that they disagree with me in the last video, some stuff they agree with me, and for some reason, maybe you have a good one, I don't know, you deleted it, or maybe YouTube deleted it, I don't know. I love disagreements on this channel. This is a safe space for anyone to appropriately tell me to fuck off. That's fine. So, if that is the reason you got rid of it, again, I couldn't read the whole thing, I got the notification, went over, it was gone. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But let's get into the nitty gritty, shall we? Brandon Carlo, a 6-year extension, 4.1 million AAV. That's annual average value, or average annual value. Oh, I should know that. This deal is an absolute steal. We get Carlo from 24 years of age to 30 years of age on a $4 million contract. I'm not going to keep saying 4.1. It's $4 million. That means we get his prime years as a defenseman. A shutdown, lockdown, defensive defenseman that we saw blocking shots and making Ovi's life hell. We saw how much he was missed when he went down, when Barzal all of a sudden went off. I know the worries here are the injuries, right? And not reported immediately, but quickly came out after, that started in 2023, that contract has a no-trade clause in it. Now, we know with no-trade clauses, it doesn't actually mean they're not going to get traded, just means that they kind of get to dictate where they go. You shouldn't worry about something like that, because if, in 3 or 4 years, we have decided on a full rebuild, and there's a contending team trying to get him, he will want to go there, and we'll still get the most assets for him. I'm a big Carlo guy. Great big penalty killing body. Can make you feel it on the boards. And he can skate. Underrated on his ability to jump up into the rush. I know he doesn't put a lot of points up. That's not really his job. That guy has the potential to be a number one pairing defenseman. But he plays a shutdown role, right? We have McAvoy. He's always going to be on that right side up top. Love this steal. It is an absolute steal. And it's going to look minuscule a few years down the road when the cap starts going up again. On the other end of things, Kevin Miller. He says goodbye. He's all done, baby. That's fine. I'm going to miss him. I was really impressed by the games we did get from him this year. I thought he's just a bulldog, man. He is the type of guy you hate seeing coming after you. And he was effective. But the injuries are too much. And he knew, and he fought, and he clawed to get back to the NHL. It just didn't work out. I think this was a best case scenario in the terms of he knows now, right? Had he not put in the effort to try to get back, all the surgery and the rehab, which is painful and horrible to deal with, but he went through that to prove to himself he could get back. He did, and was effective when he played, and then was able to call it quits on his terms, to say, I know I did everything I could. He deserves a ton of respect. He won't get the big showy retirement night that a lot of these other guys get, the bigger superstars, all that. But he's well respected in the organization, and he should be. You know, there's another piece of news that's been blowing everyone's mind. It wasn't about free agents, trades. Oh, that's right. Our beloved Pierre Maguire. Oh, don't we love him? Don't you just wish you could wake up to that voice every morning? Oh my God, I'd shoot myself in the fucking ear. Pierre Maguire has accepted a contract from the Ottawa Senators to be on their scouting staff. He's going to head up a bunch of their scouting shit. We're making fun of it. A lot of people are making fun of it. I don't think that's super fair. I can't believe I'm about to defend the guy. We hate hearing his voice. He is knowledgeable. People talk about his last stint as a head coach in the mid-90s when he was in his mid-30s. That seems a little unfair. I think that eventually a team was going to sign him because he's put a lifetime of work into hockey. He deserves a shot. Here's the issue. He's going to be heavily involved in scouting. And he doesn't believe in analytics. And he made a statement that he was interviewed about this. Two things stuck out in this interview. One, when he talked about, as soon as someone brought up analytics, he talked about heart. He talked about toughness. He talked about all of those dynamics that you can't measure. You can't measure the size of a man's heart. Sure. I mean, literally you can, but you can't. Figuratively. You know what you could have done, though, you donkey? You could have just gone, I think it's very important that we utilize the tool of analytics. He mentions analytics. It's a helpful tool, but he always adds that but. Just say, analytics are going to be a big part of our program moving forward. It's very important that we understand that we need boots on the ground and we need analytics to support our scouting staff. But he still turned it into an argument against analytics. That's what we're afraid of. The other thing that stood out is he talked about having turned down jobs. Turned down jobs as a GM. Do we believe that? Do we believe that he was considered a GM by a team? And of course it's everyone's first no fucking way. Get that fuck out of here. There's no way. But then you think about some of the owners in this league, and you think about how much McGuire's on TV, and you just go, you know what? He's probably telling the truth. There are a couple guys, Melnick included, that would do that move. And then you kind of think, well, I don't know. Maybe in a couple years, He's the new GM of the slowly getting better Ottawa Senators, who still need to draft really well and make sure that they're making the right moves to come back to relevance. And it's not that long ago. 4 years since they were in the conference finals. 1 goal away. Guys, the owner torpedoed them. They collapsed. And they finally have pride. And we talk about this. We talk about it on the podcast. Finally have pride in what they're doing. You watch Ottawa Senators games and you go, wow, the team actually looks like they're trying, working for something. There's togetherness, heart. The unmeasurable heart is there. And you just tossed a guy in that has the potential to fuck it up. Fuck it up big time. And you wonder if the plan is for him to take over as GM. That is one organization or owner that I wouldn't put it past. So, something to keep your eye on. Let's talk a little bit about the big names out there right now. Now, one of the big fish that has suddenly come out of nowhere is Landeskog. He made a statement that they're not super close. They're not super close on this extension for him. And it looks like he may end up a free agent when free agency comes. Now, a lot of us suspected that anyway because, well, the expansion draft's like in a couple days, a week. So we figured it would take a little while to actually get him signed. But now it seems like they're not close on numbers. And this was, again, something we talked about in the podcast. If you want more detail on that, I would direct you there. But it's something to keep an eye on. But let's talk about some of these bigger ones. Eichel. We're going to play a game, you and me. And I'm going to need you in the comments for this one. That's right, I'm asking for comments. Here we go. The only way that we are in the Eichel sweepstakes is if Eichel's no trade clause has kicked in, or, which it hasn't, or if it's this year, he goes to Buffalo, says, you send me to Boston, or I guarantee I won't play for any of these teams next year. Boston or bust. I won't play for anybody else. Right? That is a very, very rare thing to happen. But say he does that. The price is still there. Buffalo can still keep him, right? And just wait. Or just ship him off to a team and hope that they still give up big assets. But that's the only way I see this happening because we don't have the assets to compete with like the Rangers or the Kings or any of that. But so say that happens. We're on the phone. I'm the GM of the Boston Bruins at the moment. I need to give up real assets for this. I know this. So I say, all right, I'll give you DeBrusk, Beecher, and 2 firsts. As the GM of the Buffalo Sabres, do you take that? Like, is that his value? No, I honestly think it's higher. And I think people are underrating. They're underrating how valuable Eichel is when healthy. Now, this is the trick to it all. That next situation fucks everything up. There are teams that have been on the record saying, now these are executives anonymous, but they have stated that they are out on the Eichel sweepstakes, strictly because of the risk. There was one executive who said, and I got this from The Athletic, again, check them out, they have a ton of good articles. There was one executive who made the statement, it is a franchise sinking risk, or you're a genius. And I think that statement alone just wakes you up and goes, man, we really just shouldn't be involved in this at all. We got to make the phone calls, right? You got to do your job. Eichel's not in our future. Let's talk about another injured guy, Tarasenko. Now, it looks like his shoulder, this final shoulder surgery, is the best one. It looks like they botched 2 of them, and the last one looks to have taken. This is another one of those, I don't think the Bruins have the assets because they have talked about, the Blues management has talked about needing real pieces. In their book, and I don't know about this, in their book, they're still contenders. They're still in their open window phase. To me, with the way the last couple postseasons have ended, I'm kind of more on the side of maybe you had a miracle run which ended in you devastating just the most beloved fan base in hockey, the Boston Bruins. I can't believe we lost that Dick Weasel Binnington. Tarasenko's not a guy I'm really in on. I would love to have him. I would. I really would. I like him. I like his game. If this shoulder surgery was like the tits, great. Let's do it. We don't have the assets. If Tarasenko forces his way here, great. But he's got a list of like 6 other teams. We are on his list. I just don't see us in for him. And that cost, man, it feels high. His value's never been lower. Maybe it does just take DeBrusk in a first, which I would do all day, because that's not the same type of risk, right? They have to retain some of the salary, just a little bit. DeBrusk, who is being shopped as it is, not sure, still going to be protected in the draft, but not sure if he's going to be playing for the team next year. And a first-round pick, yeah, I'd send it. But I think the price is higher. And I think they need more NHL-ready guys than just one. And a questionable one at that. Tkachuk, doesn't happen. It can't happen. There's no way. They've got side deals going on with Seattle already. The interest in doing a Tkachuk for Tarasenko deal, although Calgary would want more than just Tarasenko. I think it's an impossible maneuver for the Bruins. The Bruins have to pay more attention to free agency than anything. Internally, we have guys like Studnicka who might be ready for the next step. We've got Hall, Krejci to re-sign, Rask, obviously. Free agency, we have to look for a goalie, a veteran goalie with a small cap hit that can play 20 games for us. I'm all in. We need to look for our defense. Martinez is obviously a big fish. Alexiak is on that list. There are guys to look at. I am going to be doing a full free agency episode on guys that I want to get after the expansion draft. I'm going to let the expansion draft happen, let the dust settle a little bit, and start nailing out some of this stuff. I think that's where we need to pay most of our attention. I don't think a lot of trades are going to be possible for us. I will say the Garland situation is getting more and more interesting. We do have a little segment on Garland on that podcast too. I'm trying to be a good podcast guest, guys. I can't just repeat everything I said on the pod on my channel. Then there's no point for you to listen to that. Besides, there's just so much. There's such a difference talking to people, like actually speaking to them. And we couldn't stop. There was just so much to talk about. There's so much fun stuff happening right now. I'm excited for the expansion draft. I'm going to do a review on that. I'm going to go through every team's situation after that, as well as moving forward with free agency. I am pumped.